Hi, my name's Maisie and I work with Enough, and I've created this video to introduce you to myself, to say hi and to talk to you about some of the support resources that we've created, that I hope will be not just educational, but hopefully really enjoyable and an empowering part of your healing process as well. But before we get into that, I just want to take a moment just to make sure that you're feeling comfortable, you're in a safe space. However you might do that, whether that's getting yourself a cozy blanket, maybe making yourself a cup of tea. You might even want to put a bit of background music on. However you personally feel most comfortable, maybe just pause the video and set that up if you're not already. And you know, it's really important that you do that because you've just experienced something incredibly traumatic, something that should never have happened to you, and something that is absolutely not your fault. But it's really important that you're feeling as comfortable as you can be, as we talk about some of these themes, because it's really difficult to reflect on some of these things. So do take care of yourself. If you need to pause the video at any time, you can always come back to it. That's how they've been designed. So just make sure that you're prioritizing what you need. You might be watching this video having no idea what you want to do next or how you're even feeling, and that's completely normal. There's no pressure on you to take any specific steps. The most important thing for you to hear right now is that however you're feeling, whatever you're feeling, is a completely normal response to a really abnormal experience. What happened is not your fault. Nothing you did influenced it, and how you responded is not a reflection of you. You might have found yourself questioning why you responded in a certain way, why you made certain choices, and why you're feeling the way that you're currently feeling as well. But one thing that's really important to highlight is that how you responded isn't a reflection of what happened or how you felt about what happened. When we experience something traumatic like what you've experienced, our brain almost takes over. You know, we've evolved to survive, and understandably, when we're in situations of danger or threat, our brains and our body, they start to operate in a way that best helps us to stay safe. And our brain and our body don't ask us how we want to respond. We don't have time to think about it. It's not a conscious decision. We simply alter into a state that means we act in a certain way to keep us safe, to get us through the experience. So it's really not a reflection on you or how you felt in that moment. And everybody reacts differently as well. You know, how you responded will very much be dependent on the context of your experience, and maybe how you've responded previously to danger. These things are inbuilt in us, and they differ from person to person, much like everything else does. And that's actually something that we can learn more about. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But if responding to trauma is something that you're interested in, then we have created a video called Why Did I? That will hopefully help to explain why you may have responded the way that you did, and really help to normalise that and reduce any shame or blame that you might be feeling on how you responded as well. And the first conscious decision that you might have made is actually acknowledging what's happened to you. It might be watching this video, but actually just recognising that you've experienced what you have is a really powerful and important first step in the healing process. And it allows you to take some control over what that might look like and what choices that you may or may not want to make as you move through this healing journey. And this experience doesn't define you, and it won't define you moving forwards either. Just because you may feel different to before your experience, you may feel like you've changed, it doesn't mean that you're broken in any way. It doesn't mean that you need fixing. It just means that you may need some support as you move through this process. You may have good days and bad days, and that's okay. And part of what we've created is to be there for you on those good days and those not so good days, and hopefully create something that will be meaningful and helpful for you. And it's really important to recognise that you should be in control of your own healing, because what happened to you and nobody else. So you know what's best for you and you know what's going to work. We can make suggestions, we can be there to be a part of that process with you, but ultimately what steps you decide to take are completely up to you. That doesn't mean that you're alone, though. You may choose to tell other people, you may not choose to tell people, and that's also okay. But we can help you to navigate that. We can help you to create a supportive network around you if that's something that you would like to explore. There's a video called Build Your Bubble that talks all about that and gives you some tips on how to create a really safe and supportive environment around you as well. You might wish to tell your family and friends, and we can help you to do that. You may feel like you want to tell them, but you don't know how, or you worry that they might not understand, they might not know what to say or how best to help you. And so we've created an allies page on our website, and it's really designed because although this has happened to you, understandably, it will affect the people around you because they love you and they care about you. So we want to make sure that they feel supported in supporting you. What happened to you is deeply personal, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other people that can relate. And that might feel really alien right now. You might feel quite isolated and like nobody can understand. But we can help you to connect to people that may be able to relate to your experience in some way. And it might just be enough to know that somebody else is watching this video at exactly the same time as you. And we hope that's going to be one of the powerful things about these videos, is knowing that they're going to be used by hopefully hundreds and thousands of people who've all experienced something similar to yourself. And the network of videos that we've created cover a range of topics. So we really hope that there's something for everybody. And the idea is that they're designed in a way that you can dip in and out of them at a time and pace that feels right for you. So you're in complete control over what aspects of your experience that you may want to reflect on, what topics you want to explore, and how often as well. So they cover a range of things like skills that you might need to cope as you move forward. As I've mentioned, they cover sort of the science of trauma, things to help normalise what you're experiencing. We talk about society as well, and some of the messages that you may have heard about, you may have been told yourself, and we think about how they might impact not just how you feel, but how you may perceive your experience and how you may perceive yourself as a result of that experience as well. And we'll think about some of the ways that you can cope with those maybe blaming and shaming messages and start to develop more compassionate thoughts towards yourself and what's happened. And this might seem impossible right now, and that's okay, because we recognise that these videos may not feel appropriate right now. You might feel like that's something you want to work towards, or something that you just don't want to explore at all. And that's okay, because we recognise that healing, it's a very turbulent process, potentially. There will be ups and there will be downs, and recognising what feels right for you at the time is really important, and only you can do that. But we also talk about relationships, we talk about how to start to maybe feel safe again, how to go out and enjoy yourself. And we also, which is a personal favourite of mine, talk about how you might go about reclaiming your sexuality. Because I personally think it's really important to promote the fact that pleasure and sex is possible. It might not feel like that right now, and it's certainly not really talked about, and that's why it was so important to me to create this video, because everybody deserves the right to pleasure, to a fun sex life, and one that feels safe and trusted and comforting. And so we'll talk a little bit about that when or if you feel ready to explore that topic. But we also want these videos to be collaborative. So I've shared my opinions, but you may have your own. You may have some ideas that I haven't talked about or that you don't see on the website. And we'd really love you to get in touch, because we want to create the content that you want, that you need, when you want it, and always free of charge as well. So we have a comment section below each of the videos where I would love you to sort of tell us anything that you've learned, anything that you've enjoyed about the video, or as well anything that you haven't enjoyed or that you found less helpful. And we also have a direct feedback page as well, where you can send requests for videos. You might have a specific question about your experience. You may be struggling with something that you want answers on. Whatever that might be, if you send us a request, we will create the content that you need. And the start of this whole healing journey can be really overwhelming. It can be a really daunting process, and just watching this video right now is such a huge step. And it might be enough, and that's okay. Whatever steps you decide to take from here, that's completely up to you, and it's got to feel right for you. But if you do choose to explore some of the videos, I really look forward to continuing the conversation and hopefully hearing from you, and getting your opinions on the videos, and hopefully giving us some suggestions for future videos, so that they can be as meaningful as they possibly can be for you, but also for anybody else that might need them in the future.